This is the second part of the video on the professionals you need when acquiring property in Ghana. In the previous video, the first video, we discussed professionals such as lawyers, land surveyors, real estate agents, among others. In this video, we want to continue with the professionals you need to do the actual building or construction of your property. Whether you bought a land that you want to develop or an old building you want to demolish and redevelop. So let's get into it. So when you want to develop or redevelop your property, the first professional you should contact is an architect. So the architects from the beginning would want to visit the sites. In some cases, the architect will request for a land surveyor's report to understand the features and topography of the land. The architect will then collaborate with you, the client, to prepare a design, a building design, which meets the client's tastes and preferences. It should be aesthetically pleasing and all that, but it should also be functional and efficient. The building design should also meet the National Building Code and the necessary planning regulations, which is essential to secure a building permit for construction. Some people opt for draftsmen because they are cheaper to save costs and all that. But you should be careful, you should always endeavor to use the right professionals. In fact, in some cases, the architect is required to collaborate with a structural or a civil engineer to ensure the safety and integrity of the building. So while the architect will focus on the design, the functionality and the efficiency of the building, the structural engineer or civil engineer will focus on the structural integrity and the structural soundness of the building. So it entails a whole lot of it's a process. In fact, sometimes there's an electrical engineer who take care of the electrical layout and all that. There can even be a plumbing engineer and all that. So it's a whole lot of process. It entails a lot. So you should always endeavor to use the right professional. So in essence, the architects will collaborate with other professionals to prepare the architectural drawings or the blueprints, which will form the basis of your construction. So once you have the architectural drawings, the next professional you should consider is a quantity surveyor. So the quantity surveyor is like your financial guide to the entire construction process. So the quantity surveyor will use the architectural drawings to prepare what we call a bill of quantities. It's like a professional estimate on the total costs of the project, the construction project, and it's called bill of quantities, BOQ. The quantity surveyor can even go further to break down the construction into phases. So there will be the foundation, the substructure, the structure itself, the superstructure, the roofing, the finishes, and all that. And each phase will have its associated costs. So all these can help with your budgeting and your financial planning. So some people do not find it practical or necessary to engage quantity surveyors because they believe they will be building gradually over several years. But even if that's the route you are going, if you are on a tight budget and that's the route you are going, it's still advisable to get a quantity surveyor to give you one professional estimate from the beginning, so it can help with your planning better. There are many people who struggle to tell you how much their construction project costs, like someone who is far advanced in their construction project or has even completed it. They might not be able to tell you how much the project costs because they didn't have any financial plan from the beginning. So you should always endeavor to get a quantity surveyor and who can help you with your planning at the very beginning of your project. So once you know how much it will cost to construct your project, the next thing is to hit the ground running with the actual construction. So in Ghana, we have contractors and project managers who can oversee and manage your construction project for you. So they will coordinate the artisans, source the materials, the building materials. They will manage and monitor the timelines so that the construction is on time. And they will also ensure quality control so that the right thing is done. So some of these contractors or project managers are actually professionals in the built environment. So the architects, such as the architects, the valuers, the quantity surveyors, the civil engineers, they all can be a project manager or a contractor. Even some contractors are artisans, skilled artisans with years of experience in building projects. They've been involved in a lot of building, and so they gain that experience and are able to take contracts to build for people, so you can explore all that. It's always important to get a professional to guide you. Some people try to self-manage their construction projects because of issues of costs, mainly because of issues of cost and budget, and sometimes it's because of issues of mistrust and all that. It's understandable, construction is capital intensive. It involves a lot of money. It's very expensive. But even if you are going that route, it's important to get at least one professional you can contact and consult in times of need. Construction is quite a complex process. It can be very complex, and the issues that may arise can range from minor inconveniences to huge structural problems, which can result in long-term regrets. So it's very important to always seek professional guidance in the construction process. So once the project is complete, once the construction is complete, the next thing is to the interior finishes. The next thing is the interior finishes. So with this one too, you can either contact a professional interior designer, or you can do that by yourself, or you can collaborate with a professional interior designer. All that can work. Then it means that the project is complete. Then you can move in. So to recap, the professionals you need in your construction include the architects, who sometimes is required to work with a civil engineer or a structural engineer. Then we have a quantity surveyor. Then we have a contractor or a project manager. Then sometimes an interior designer. So all that has been discussed so far in the part 1 and in the part 2, all the professionals and the steps that have been discussed is much suited in acquiring residential properties or maybe small commercial setups. For huge commercial ventures such as a factory or like a shopping mall, then you might need industry specific guidance. So the specific industry, you might need the guidance from such industry beyond what has been discussed here so far. I know many people have successfully acquired their properties without necessarily engaging all these professionals we've covered so far in the part 1 and in the part 2. But I know many others too who can relate to whatever has been shared so far, and given the opportunity, they will admit that they will seek professional help because of the issues that they might have encountered or they have encountered. In hindsight, the cost of professional help it's far less than the costs of fixing all these issues that may arise. Ghana's real estate market is quite chaotic. It's not very structured compared to other countries or other places. But seeking the right professional help with the right information and guidance, your property acquisition journey can be very smooth and secure. So if you have found time to watch these 2 videos, the part 1 and the part 2 on the professionals you need when acquiring property in Ghana, thank you very much for your time. If you learned anything or this video has been very helpful to you, kindly like and share to others you know will be interested in this topic. If you have any comments or reactions or experiences to share, kindly leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to respond, and also subscribe to the channel.